I'm taking one for the team.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Now we're going to know when we will know when we're live. Preview. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Sammy, you ready?
Wait.
Ginger?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. And we should be live from Houston, Texas. Ginger Crumb Monday with Ginger Cook at the helm. Sammy, you're not Ginger.
Hey,
Good seeing you, Sammy. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, you guys. Hi, John. How are everybody? Welcome to our Monday show. If you just happened to stumble across us as you were surfing.
Wait. Do you think people actually stumble?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, people someone says it's a live show, I don't know what's that, and then they come over here and they go, who are these nut bars? Who are these people?
Nut bars.
Nut bars. Who are these nut bars? Well, listen, you just happened to stumble into a acrylic painting lesson. And one of the things we like to do on Mondays is to kind of go over stuff. Maybe you thought you knew, but maybe you don't. How's that?
One
So
never
you
knows.
thought you knew it, so we're going to explore in depth. We're going to talk about trees today. It's some tree rules. There's 3 rules for tree rules.
Tree rules. Unbelievable.
Trees rule, and there are tree rules. So we're going to talk about those tree rules, and we're going to talk about how to just, trees are in so many landscapes, and I see, you'd think they'd be really easy to do, but I think the thing is that you've got to get the pattern in your mind. So we're going to talk about some different tree patterns, and we're going to make up a landscape together, you and I, okay? I don't know what we're going to paint Monday. I get discombobulated on Monday.
Discombobulated.
Discombobulated.
That's not the secret word, people.
No, it's not the secret word. But then there is going to be a secret word. Do you have the painting that they're going to win, John, if they got a secret word?
They do, but they don't get to see that right now.
Well, not right this second, but we'll show you
But
later.
they will.
But sometime in the show,
Very
I
soon.
will say a word
That's
that
totally
has
out of
nothing to do
context.
that's out of context, okay? As an example, this is not the secret word, but it might be, say,
Basket weaving.
that's 2 words.
Basket.
So,
Basketball.
Okay, well,
No.
how about,
Okay, so it may be 1 or 2 words.
but it's going to be, it's irrespective of what we're doing here, okay? Irrespective of what we're doing here. It's nothing to do, it's totally out of context. That will be the secret word. You get to collect a total of 8 in all, and then you will then email your secret word into us.
When you have all 8,
When you have all 8,
don't do it before.
Don't do it before, because it won't matter.
We'll have a special forum on the website for you.
And we'll do a special unveiling. We'll do a show, and someone's going to win a brand new original painting. Seriously, going to win a painting. I don't care where you live. I'm going to ship it to you. Look at that.
Well, if you're in Mars, we'll negotiate.
Do you think anybody's watching from Mars?
I understand that we're international and universal.
I don't think that's what universal means, but okay. All right. Well, okay.
Why not?
I mean, just saying. But we'll try to get it to you. All right, or something. Okay.
Hey, thank you for everybody saying I did good on my cup painting. That's my number 2 painting.
Didn't that, John? John, we did that full, fly on the wall lesson. So let me just put some paint out while we're talking to you. While we're chit-chatting, and we're letting for a few people catch up. What do you got there? Oh yeah, those are the pictures that we did, and we didn't put anything on them yet.
We didn't finish them.
We didn't finish them because we forgot to put our stuff.
We get discombobulated on Mondays.
It's discombobulated.
But
you may be discombobulated.
I get discombobulated.
I get discombobulated.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, between the 2 of us, we're a hot mess, right? So, so here we're going to go. So this Sunday.
Wait. Oh, you're going to hold it up? You want me to put it down?
Well, put it down here.
Yeah, let me shoot you down.
Here, put it down here. Let's just get this out of the way. Get my little down. Here are the 2 paintings that John and I did. This is this was mine. This was John's, and this was a step-by-step how to paint this picture on Sunday. If you haven't seen this, this is like if you were to just be a fly on the wall in one of my private art lessons, and they start really at $150 for 2.5 hours. If you happen to be in Texas, that's what people are happily paying for those. And John, of course, John's free, but anyway, and you guys are free that watched it.
I pay dearly.
Yeah, yes, that's
long
true.
Hours, a lot of
long
editing.
Hours, and he's up till 3 in the morning. But what I'm saying is, John wanted to learn to paint. This is how I teach people to paint, and that come in privately. And so you'll see how John. If John makes a mistake, I'll show him how to fix it and how to do things. This is a really good lesson, a really in-depth, 2.5 hours. We've got a short 40-minute version of this on YouTube. That's fine. You can watch me paint it quickly.
Yeah, you can watch it the right way or my way.
But people have found John's to be very helpful. Now today, what I wanted to do is we're going to get out a small canvas today because we're going to cover quite a bit of ground. And these are those little Paramount canvas sheets. And what I like about those is they're real canvas. This isn't canvas paper. Jerry sells these. There's 10 to a package. They're, $4 or $5 for, for all of these. And the thing about the advantage of doing these small things, you guys, the advantage of it is that you don't waste a lot of paint learning the tricks. And then if you find a picture that just makes you really happy, then you go ahead and paint it. For instance, today I was working very diligently on a lesson that we do for our subscribing members, that our gingercooklive.gallery Academy members get a new painting every week lesson, irrespective of what we do on YouTube. And this is the painting that we finished the lesson on. This is a big interesting.
Bad not receiving.
Huh.
I mean, it's totally gone right now.
Do we need to start over?
No data is being received. YouTube's not receiving enough data.
And you're not going through the Mac. You're going through the PC.
Through the PC. I'm almost thinking it totally stopped over there.
Well, we don't know. I'll tell you what, John.
Move your. Oh, your hand's not even up there. Last thing I have is your hand is up on top getting rid of sand.
Last thing, can you see this at all with my hands here?
No.
Nothing's going on here?
It's coming over here.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a delay in this, but it seems to get slower. If it gets too slow, we have to just stop it, trash this one, and start again, which we'll do.
They think it's working, but I don't think it is. My message says it's still receiving bad stream. Well, okay, you just waved your hand.
I just waved my hand. I'm going to wave it again. I'm going to sand this while I'm doing it.
Yeah,
right?
might as well, but I think it's going to eventually catch up to them.
Would you like to just stop it and start it again?
No, because we lose that whole feed, and we got 200 and some odd people in the room.
All right, so let's just go for it then.
251. Right? We're just going to keep going.
All right, there's just going to be a little delay between your questions. Now look, if you have some questions, we've got moderators. I want to thank, usually Kim Sung and Wendy are moderators. Maybe there's someone else that's moderators.
Yeah,
our moderators are our friends here, and they help us see your questions. If you have a question for us, particularly because we've got a big delay, you've got to type them up in capital letters. It's a big cap, so we know it's a question. It's okay, so you can ask a question. This is a family show, so we keep everything pretty polite here. And remember, we're a merry band of artists. Everybody's here to have a good time. That's the idea behind this. And the fun thing about the show today is we are going to explore trees, and we're going to create a quick little landscape. I'm going to show you, this is a sketch for some trees. Here's an example of some birch trees in a background. So I'm going to show you how to take what we know about these and let's create a little landscape, all right? And the first thing we're going to do, I kind of liked this one, all right? So we're going to do something at an angle. Now these are 6x8 canvases, so they're pretty easy, but if I were to come up about 3 fingers, which we've determined my 3 fingers are, 1 finger is 1/2 inch.
So that must be 1.5 inches.
So that would be 1.5 inches, and I'm going to come down 3 fingers, maybe 4 over here, which would be about 2 inches, and make a little hill like that. Okay, there you can see my little hill. We're going to do 2 little underpaintings here. And I want to put out some paint, and we're going to be chatting. If you have not subscribed to our channel, I would invite you to do so. They're going to stop all the little annotations, subscribe now buttons and stuff. That's all going to go away after May.
We're hoping they're going to give us something else. They're just going to the iCards.
Because there's no way to hit an iCard and subscribe, okay?
Not as of yet.
Not as of yet that we know of. So what we're doing a little white, mixing white, and I'm putting out some paint and stuff. So this is kind of a cool, so anyway, we appreciate it when you share these videos and when you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, and listen, did you know you could subscribe to somebody's channel, you haven't been seeing them for a while, and you're no longer a subscribing member, YouTube just takes you out. Did you know that?
I love this comment. I have to interrupt. I love this comment from Tanya.
Yeah?
I showed my husband John learning to paint. He said, "Oh no, there's no way of me getting out of it now."
Aha, okay, all right.
Hey, we need more men to be involved. I mean, we are outnumbered big time.
Well, that's true. That's
Hugely.
true. That's true. There's a probably, well, it's a fun hobby, and I think it's very relaxing. People have figured it out. And did you know, you guys, that there were medical studies saying that there's two things that actually reverse aging in the brain. One is composing music, and the other is painting. And I think it would be tough, say at 50 or 60, to take up some sort of music composition if you'd never picked up any kind of musical instrument, didn't know the first thing about it. But you don't have to be good at painting, you just have to do it. How's that? Okay? Now, I don't know why I have mixing white over here twice. Let's get rid of that.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
You couldn't stand it. That was supposed to be purple. But what can I say? That's purple.
Purple, mixing white, close enough.
That's Dazzling Purple. We're going to put out a little burnt umber. Okay, so that's way over here, seriously? What is this? Okay, all right. John put out all my paint in order.
I painted, let me tell you a quick story while she's setting that up. I did oil painting when my sister took lessons when we were teenagers. I got to be maybe 7th grade, 13, 14. And at that time, I took a lesson with her, and I was quite good at it. I enjoyed it, but I had a choice. I could either play football with my guys on the weekends or oil painting, and being a guy, we played football. So I didn't really play much with oil painting. I did enjoy it, but then when I went to college, I picked up watercolor and did that very little. And then I didn't touch anything until Ginger 40 years later.
Okay, this is Cad Yellow Light. I wanted Cad Yellow Medium, so I'm going to put that next to it. Cad Yellow Light, though, is a color you cannot mix. You have to actually have it. You can see the difference between the two colors. You can't add white to Cad Yellow Medium and get Cad Yellow Light. So if you're doing something beautiful like flowers or things like that, Cad Yellow Light can be very nice. Yellow Oxide is sort of a nifty color. You can make that with, you can kind of make it, but it's a good staple color to have. Put out a little bit of that.
My staples are silver.
What?
Just saying.
Keep focused, you. You keep focused. Keep focused. You keep focused.
I'm listening to every word you say.
Yeah, but are you translating? Is it you and the bear again?
Yeah, me and the bear.
Okay. All right. What's okay? It's you and the bear.
Me and the bear.
All right. Now, this came up before we got rudely interrupted. Somebody wanted to know what this is. Sandpaper. What kind of sandpaper is it, John? People.
It's supposed to be 220 fine, very fine sandpaper. And yes, we do sand the pads because we felt them yesterday. We did it. It was not yesterday.
I've never done it before.
I've never done it before, and there's a huge difference between sand and unsand. It's going to save your brushes.
All right, now these are ruby satin silver brushes. This is a number 6, bright brush, and they're squared off, slightly squared. They're not the long ones, and they're really good. The Silver Brush Company is kind of the Cadillac of all the brush companies. Really, they're the best. I got to hand it to my daughter Cinnamon. She didn't approach them to, for any kind of, brush thing with them. They found her, which I think is pretty neat. And I got to tell you, because I've been using these brushes for 30 years, and I mean, everybody knows it's like the best brushes on the planet. And they make a variety in this line. I like the ruby satin silvers; those are my favorite. But anyway, so I guess it's come up recently that perhaps I want you to know they found her. Because they're suddenly understanding that artists and people on YouTube, just like the makeup people, they have influence. If, for instance, I'm watching a makeup thing for some, say women over 50, and I'm watching them put on makeup, I want to know what they're buying, and I might go out and buy that. Not that they're trying to sell me anything. It's just that if they got something that works, I want to know it. I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to start a new thing called Ginger's Favorite Things, just stuff that I found, and nothing to do with painting, that I just absolutely love, that stuff that I found that I really like, and things that I didn't like. For instance, I should tell you about those shoes that didn't work for me that I bought. That there were some shoes recently that came up on. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Came up on. They were all over Facebook. These little tennis shoes with the little art signals, little art painting things and paint palettes and paints and stuff all over, painted on the shoes. They were darling. I bought a set and they were so narrow. I don't know who. Could wear those. I was feeling a little bit like Cinderella's stepsister, trying to get those on, and luckily the company took them back. But I'm just saying that, that's what we do. So if people say, what about these brushes? That's what we use, all right? All right, now I'm not going to wet the brush because I'm using a canvas paper. It's not really paper. It's a real piece of canvas, like if you bought it in a roll and cut it, even though it was at a pad, but I don't want to use water on my brush to do this. But I'm going to start. Here's a rule about skies. They're lighter at the horizon line. The horizon is where the land meets the sky. Okay, so as your sky starts darker at the top and gets lighter as it goes down to the bottom. So we're not going to spend a lot of time with the sky today, but we are going to put one in. And I think we're going to use a mother color today too, which we haven't talked about, or a unity color. As long as we're just fooling around, let's do that. And this is a color called raw umber, and it's different than burnt umber, then it's a little translucent. So I'm going to start with phthalo blue and a little bit of the raw umber. Then I'm going to grab some white here. Do you see this? Now look at how soft this is, what a nice soft color this is. I'll put a little more. The raw umber tones it down. It grays the color, all right? Now there's other ways to gray a color. Cad red medium, I could take a bit of that. That would gray it. Tiny bit of that would gray the colors. And that means that phthalo blue by itself, and that's the phthalo blue green shade, is quite, it's really a bright sort of circus color if you didn't tone it down. So here's a little bit of raw umber in it. Here's a little bit of cad red medium. You see how we've got these two colors of blue. So now I'm going to start up here at the top like that, and that's about as dark at the blue as I want. And remember, the acrylics dry darker. So then what I'm going to do is just wipe the paint off my brush like this. See that? Then I'm going to come down here with this light paint, and I'm going to skip a space, and I'm come under there. Just skip a little space, like pushing pretty hard. Come across there. Now I'm going to scoot up like this, keeping, pushing pretty hard, and I'm going to meld, maybe even just coming down at an angle like that. I'm going to melt these two colors together, all right? So it's a slightly lighter as it goes down. Now I'm going to just grab some white, come down here, it's a little lower like that, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come up, use the side of the brush like this, and then just very gently melt these colors in. You can wipe off a little paint if you've got too much white. This is a small canvas, and there, just sort of, now you see how the sky is getting lighter as it comes down, to where our hill's going to be. Now more white, because we haven't rinsed the brush, so it still has blue in it, okay? And now we're going to come down a little bit lower, like this, and again, using just the side of our brush, we're going to suggest, now I'm going to do something a little different, using just the side of our brush, like this, we're going to suggest some clouds up here, like that. Now look how easy that is. Okay, so we've got a few little cloud bank in here, like that. Just that simple. Then I'm going to wipe the brush again, take a little more white, come up here like this, and do a second layer of clouds. Okay, little second layer. Maybe this is titanium white now. Just going to come up here like this. Now it's still wet, so it's mixing in with this. Now that's another kind of real fast, simple way to do a kind of a neat little sky and some clouds. And if you want a little shading on some clouds like this, you can remember clouds are two-toned. They usually have a shadow side to them. So you could put a little shadow, a little shading in there if you wanted, something like that, so they showed up a little more. Okay? And then maybe you want to come up here with some mixing white or some transparent white. You could come up here like this. Maybe you want to just come across here like that and just put some sort of streaky clouds going this way. I mean, you could if you wanted to, or if you didn't, take it out. It's acrylic paint. You've got a lot of options. Okay? That's I guess the main thing is that you can. Everybody thinks they dry so quick you can't do anything. Of course you can. Here's some titanium white.
You can if you're as fast as she is.
And then look what I'm doing. I'm sort of pushing the clouds up and making them very bumpy up here like that, and then coming down here like that. That's kind of cute, right? All right, so let's see. Let's get another little white edge up on these. Here, just right up here on the corner. I'm just pushing the white up like that. To do little sound effects are good, right? Okay, see those clouds? Then pinch the brush, and then come shove that. It's like shoveling snow. Don't go over that white line. Just sort of shove it up there. Okay, all right. That's good enough for clouds. All right, that's a nice cloud thing. Now we want something down here that's sort of neutral. So I'm going to rinse the brush because now I've changed colors. So that's sort of my underpainting cloud painting, because we're going to put trees and stuff. We don't get too crazy. Now I want some sort of, I'm going to have some sort of hill meadow here. So I need an underpainting for that. So I'm going to just take, say, Cad Red Medium, and a little bit of burnt umber, like that. Maybe a tiny bit of Dazzling purple. A little bit more, like that. Make sort of a reddish brown color. And let's just come under here like this. And let's just say that that is our, that's our hill, okay? Now, I mean, this is pretty simple. We're just happily painting this in. Now watch how I'm coming down and across, down and across, down and across with this. Slow, 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 slow. Then the minute I make a brush stroke where nothing happens, I get more paint, all right? All right, now that's the underpainting for my landscape. All right, then we're going to keep this real simple. It's the underpainting for this. I don't know what's on the other side of this cliff. We're not going to talk about it. This is just going to keep this really simple, you guys. Because the idea is to talk to you about trees. Here's a little burnt umber, a little bit of cad red medium, a little bit of purple, like that. Now look at this nice, deep, rich, reddish brown it made. Maybe a little bit darker down in here toward the bottom. All right, so that is our picture. And somebody asked the other day, why don't you tape this down? Because I don't want to have a border, and it's fine. I like to be able to turn stuff around. It's fine.
And she likes to have paint on her fingers.
Yeah, I don't mind paint on my fingers. I don't consider that a terrible thing. I might just come up here like this into my clouds, like this, and maybe kind of redo my hill a little bit too. I want it maybe up here a little higher. There. Okay, make it a little bit more. Oh, let's do that. There. Okay. All right. So now, what we have to do is dry it. That's easy. So while I'm drying it, can I answer any questions before I dry it?
You had one question in regards to the brushes. Why do you prefer Ruby Satin Silvers over, say, Winsor Newton or anybody else? I mean, what's the big deal?
Okay, that's a good question about what the big deal is. The big deal is the fibers they use. They use special acrylic fibers, you know, and they hold the paint better and they disperse it better. Believe me, I don't really. I have a Winsor Newton, a Galleria number 40 that I really like. And I use that for large paintings. It's a bright brush, but that's the Winsor Newtons. That's about the only one I like. These hold a chiseled edge, so that you can do a fine line and a really fat one. This is a really good example of what you can do. Check that video I have on YouTube. Can your brush do this? Because that's the that's the key to all this. Can your brush do this? All right. So what again? If you're just joining us, we're making up a painting together. We're going to talk about trees. We're going to put some trees in here. We're going to use a palette knife on some of them. We're going to create a fast painting, and we're going to talk about tree rules. That's what we're doing today. But we have to get enough going here where we can. We have to have enough of an underpainting where we're put in our trees. All right. So what I'm going to do now is take the hairdryer and dry this.
That's not what we discussed.
Well, oh, that's right. It isn't. I lied. I lied. I'm sorry. All right, we're going to let this dry for a second, and I'm going to show the other thing that's coming up is that, where's to find the cherries, John? Because I have to show people the cherries, okay? Okay. So I want to show you. You may see in a video I've done on varnishing, all right, and why it's important to varnish. But I don't think really anybody really understands it, because people keep saying, well, why can't I use spray varnish? Well, gosh, I guess you can use anything, but if you want your colors to really stand out and you want to protect your painting really well, and this is a permanent thing, the best varnish I have ever found, and I know everybody else makes some, but I love the Liquitex Gloss Medium and Varnish. These people don't know me. They're not asking me to say this. This is the stuff I've been using forever. Since 1965, I've been using their stuff, and it really works, and their formula is great. And here's the cherry. Okay, so for instance, this is a painting that's been varnished. This is one of the paintings we're going to have in one of our lessons, gingercooklive.gallery. And you see, look at the colors. Now let me show you the picture before the varnish. Do you see the difference? Look at the cherries. Look at the bright colors. Look what it does. The same thing, but the varnish, what the varnish does is bring the colors out and also protects the painting. This has only one coat of varnish on it, all right? So then the thing is, but conversely, you can ruin a painting pretty fast varnishing it the wrong way. I'm just going to leave that here. You absolutely can. So one of the tricks to varnishing something, and while we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to show you this. I think this will make such a difference for you that I got to tell you how this goes, right? I just feel like everybody should know how to do this. And the first thing we're going to do is you don't shake it, okay? Please don't shake it. And I think I've got a video, 10 varnishing mistakes even. I've got a whole playlist just on mediums. If you haven't had a chance to peruse those, you ought to. So we're going to put a little, we put it in a cup like this so that, and you'll notice it's sort of a milky white. Put it in a cup like this so that you can pour it back if you don't use it all right? Now the main thing is to try to focus when you're doing this. All right, you can see how beautifully, how nice that is. Thanks, John. And again, I want you to just see the difference in the pictures. You see how much brighter the orange is and how the cherry's brighter. And if I were going to have my own brand of varnish, I wouldn't call it that. I'd call it a color popper. Yeah, because that's what it does.
Color popper, I like that.
Because it pops the colors. All right, so now you've seen that. Let me just show you. Now here's some paintings as an example. Here are some paintings that are, if you've heard, maybe you guys heard, that we have an art of, I've decided to sell some of my original pieces. Maybe you guys remember when I painted this, all right? And we have a little auction going on at our site, gingercooklive.gallery, and they're started off very reasonably. John's going to update it, hopefully today, give you an idea of where the, hasn't had a chance to do it yet, but where the bids are, but he'll explain that. But I'm going to just show you this. All the paintings will come signed and varnished, all right? Now here's an abstract that is one of my favorites. And is this the one that has the angel in it?
I believe so.
One of these has, if you look at it really closely, you can see an angel in it. Okay, I think it's this one. So anyway, here's how would you varnish a painting like this? First off, you got to have a soft brush, all right? Real soft. And so it's not like, you could use a ruby satin silver because it's soft enough. The varnish ruins your brushes, so try not to use your good stuff. But you
don't want a real cheap one where the hairs fall out.
Well, you can't have the hairs falling off, so it's sort of a compromise. And this one is a creative mark, I think, and it was soft, all right? And then when you get a new brush that's kind of cheap, what you got to do is you got to run it over the water and sink, and then really be mean to the bristles and try to pull as many hairs out as you can, that kind of thing. Now, there's no water on this, and it's I'm going to dip it in the varnish. Now, I want you to see that because there's so many different directions on this, I'm almost making parentheses as I varnish this, and I want you to see it. Now, look at what the colors are doing as I varnish. Can you see? Look what's happening to those blues as I varnish it. Look at the difference between this blue and that one. All right? And you need to do 2 coats. If you were to keep going over it, suppose you just got on the phone and just kept over here going yak, 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 and kept doing this, you'd turn it white. Yeah. So it's better to just move along, and you don't want any bubbles, and you want to hold the cup over, because if you get a drip and the drip forms like a teardrop, what'll happen is that when you try to pick it up, it'll pick it all the way down to the bare paint. Now you see what I'm doing? See how I'm varnishing this kind of almost in a sweeping motion rather than back and forth and up and down.
You try to match the strokes.
You try to match the brush strokes. Exactly right, John. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to have a crummy glare. It's going to glare. It's going to be real crummy. Now look, you can kind of see where I've been, where I haven't. All right, now.
Questions come up. How long do you wait after the painting's dry before you do your first coat, and then how long do you wait between coats?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Generally speaking, I'd wait a day to varnish. Give your painting 24 hours to dry, unless you're using Golden Opens, and they recommend 2 weeks or
longer.
But basically, you can do it in a day. All right, and I want you to see how I'm varnishing this. Now it's already dried down here in the corner, right down here. It's already dried. So what's going to happen is that the paint's going to absorb this varnish differently in some places. So when you look, it's going to look like you haven't done it someplace, and you did it. So you just kind of have to focus. I'll tell you what, don't talk on the phone, do it under good light. But look how beautiful that is. And incidentally, we haven't got a bid yet on this painting. I think it's one of my favorites too, this
Yeah, I'm really
abstract.
surprised on that one too.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this out of the way, and I'm going to show you a couple more.
Now,
Because, now look at this one. Now, how would you do this one, right? So that's a little different, okay? So this is the second coat on this one, all right?
and I don't want to say that's upside down, but I will.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Huh?
You painted
Okay.
it upside down. You varnished
It's
it upside down.
All right, now look, I'm coming this way, and then I'm doing this for the trees. Now, then I'm going this way. See that? Okay. Then I'm going back and forth this way. I've changed direction on the varnish, going this way, and then maybe down like that. Smooth it out here, then pull it down this way.
Are you? You're using very light strokes.
Very light strokes, barely touching it, and you want to kind of walk around it and sort of turn it around like that. Make sure you don't have any drips, and that you kind of be logical about it.
And again, you don't go back and forth and up and down. You're going to create
no,
a
because you
checker
don't
pattern.
do this and this, because that's what everybody wants to do, and you don't do that. All right. And this is the second coat, and look how beautiful that is. That's absolutely stunning.
And the next question is, how many coats do I do?
2. You do 2 coats.
Can I do 3?
Yeah, you could do 3, but you really only need 2. I'm
Okay.
telling you what. This is here's John's picture. I'm not going to varnish that again, but it's got 1 coat of varnish, and look how nice that is. And
That's a thing of beauty. It belongs in a museum.
I know, John does. All right. So, and the thing about a medium and varnish is you can paint over it. Did you know that? You can keep painting on it. Did you know?
It's just acrylic.
It's acrylic, so you can keep painting on it. So here's one. Did we do this one? I guess we did 1 coat,
Yeah.
right? You can kind of see it. We did 1 coat. I'm just going to show you this one because it's totally different. So if I'm coming like this, where the tree is, then where the tree is, I'll come down and follow the line of the tree. Then I'm going back this way. See that? I thought I would do a couple of these. These need, and again, these are some of the auction pieces that we have that we're selling. And again, each one will be signed. And you can varnish and keep on painting. It's something you can consider doing.
Which is better, matte varnish or gloss?
I like gloss. I prefer gloss. If you can do it, matte will put a kind of a whiter haze on it. All right. Now, just as an example, see if I can find one. Here's a good one. Not going to do all of them, John, but here's a good one right here. This is one. This really brought out the color. Now let's see what it does the second time. All right. This one's got. I think this painting has 2 bids on it already.
Yeah, I think 2
All
or
right.
3.
All right. Now look what happened to the sky. Do you see it? It's bright. And can zoom in on me, can you? Really zoom in. Can you really catch it? You'll really see it on this now. John's going to zoom in. Now look. Now look what happens to the sky. Now this is your second coat, and the second coat makes a difference. The first coat kind of really. See, now I'm going to come up here like that. Now here's my second coat. Now I'm going to pull it down because of the building. Now I'm going to go across this way because the brush strokes are going this way, across here like that, this way, and then I might just come down like that. And then go across this way like that. And you see how beautifully this is. And when this dries, it will be just glossy and shiny. It looked like I just painted it. It has that sort of wet
nice.
sheen.
Yeah.
The wet sheen to it. All right, so that's kind of the example of how you might varnish something. Incidentally, for the secret word of the day, then you just pour the rest of this back in the container. Okay? And then, here's the deal.
What was the question? I'm sorry. Before you do, how long do you wait between coats?
You can varnish after an hour, but if you can wait at 24, it's good.
Yeah.
And listen, if you're doing any kids furniture, like we got a lot of grandparents in this group, and you got some new kids coming along, and they want Cinderella or Bugs Bunny or somebody on some kids furniture, and acrylics do really well with that. You can buy some. Furniture, they want the earth for it if you have to buy that stuff, but you can trace on your own images onto a little table or something just out of a picture book and start painting it, moms and grandmas, right? But then you would seal it with this, probably 4 or 5 coats. And then I would probably do, after that, when it dried a good week, I'd probably come back with some shellac or something and hit the table with that, or
With
some,
the fine
like
wood.
Varathane or something
Yeah.
to really seal it, because it's kids and they can color on it and stuff, and you've got your artwork. All right, so this is the painting we're giving away if you have the secret word, all right? I just wanted you to see that, okay? And this has one coat of varnish on it right now,
Right, yeah.
right? And I'm going to finish this little varnishing thing up, and I'll tell you about the secret word. So basically we said it would be fun to give this away. Now look, see how we're doing this one? And now you get to hold the cup. Now all the brush strokes are going down, but the little lanterns are going that way. And then the wall's going this way. Do you see that? And then everything else is kind of going sideways. See there? Like that. And then there's the people. Like that. And the second coat goes pretty quickly. Very quickly. And then maybe I'm doing that. And then this. And here's for the trees. Okay? And then I'm looking to make sure I don't have any drips. Okay? And that's varnished. And that's all it took to varnish it. But it really gives it a beautiful finish. So, all right, so we'll put these all out of the way. You can see that.
Do you sand
So,
between coats? No.
do you what?
Sand between
Oh,
coats.
good God, no. No, you wouldn't
You want to
sand
ruin
between-
it? No,
Yeah, you
don't
would
do
just-
that.
Want to ruin your picture? No, the idea is that what this is doing, it's molecularly binding to the paint underneath, and it's like putting glass on top of it. So now you can take a sponge and wash it off or hose it off under the sink, and it's all fine.
Now, what do you do with your brush to clean it?
That you've got to use soap and water on it and really
I'm
clean
doing
it.
right now.
Yeah, and you can't fool around with that. I mean, you can leave it soap and water, but really clean it because your varnish brush eventually will die. Eventually, it will eventually die. All right, so here's a few more. We've varnished them already of some of the paintings that we've got up for auction. I don't think anybody's bid on this bench yet. I love this, and there wasn't even a lesson that went with this. Thought
No,
this
that's
was
a
so
unique
cute.
piece.
That's really a one-of-a-kind, unique piece. All right, I thought that was cool. Here's one that's done very well. The parrot. People are loving the parrot, and our mason jar. You may have. This is a video on how to paint this on YouTube. You may have loved that. It's two of those. We don't need that. And here's our eagle, which was fun. That's a YouTube video. And then this is one of our lessons on Ginger Cook Live. We got a bid on this one.
Nice varnish.
And then this is another one. I just want to mention this. This painting right here is we did a little the pot part, but we didn't do the whole painting. So this is a one-of-a-kind, unique piece. And of course, we've got a. Do we have a sailboat? Yeah, we do have a sailboat. We have the sailboat, which is mine. Okay, so I'm going to hand you those, John. Thank you. And let's continue painting our.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is dry enough, so that worked. Okay, so we're going to continue painting on this because I want to put my trees. So I want to just do a light background on here to just, this is our underpainting. So I want to suggest some sort of grassy hill. And did you take my other brush too?
Only took the one boss.
Huh. You sure?
Yes, boss.
Oh, maybe
You
this
only gave me one.
this is it. Okay, got it. All right. All right. Thank you. This is boss stuff. Yes. Okay.
Let them know I'm not at the screen.
John is not
I'm
at the
cleaning
screen.
things up right now.
He's picking things up for a minute, and I'm just going to show you. We're gonna do this fun little thing, and I'm going to tell you about tree rules. And you got some varnishing rules today too. That's what Cookie Crumb Monday's about. Is really, know your stuff, know your materials, know why you're doing stuff. All right, so let's make a green. A lot of times people want to buy greens. Let's just get in the habit of making greens. And we want sort of the farther things are in the background away, the more out of focus they become and that kind of thing. So let's just make a sort of a moss green. Let's take some yellow oxide and a little ultramarine blue. That'll make a pretty nice army green like that. Okay, you see that? Now what I want to do is we're going to do something a little different. I've got a rag here. Do you see that? I'm just going to tap off the rag and just using the flat of my brush like this, kind of allowing some of this brown to show through. I'm just going to kind of go over my hill like this and suggest that there's just some sort of plant life back here. And using just the flat of it now, not the just almost like I'm scribbling on here. Okay? All right, now I like that. Now I'm going to take a little more yellow oxide and let's have a light source. Let's say that the light is coming from this direction. All right, we're gonna say we're making this up, so the light's coming from this direction. All right, so it might be lighter on this side of the hill right here than on that side. Okay, so this is just yellow oxide on a dirty brush, right? So maybe there's this little spot's lighter here, and maybe it's a little lighter here. We're going to create some lighter hill stuff by just creating some light. See what we're doing? And we're saying that's the dark side, and then maybe over here, a little more paint, keeping it flat. I'm going to say here's another little bit of light where the light's catching. Now we've added quite a bit to this of dimension to this hill without having to try very hard. Now I'm going to go back into our ultramarine blue, little cad red medium, and a little tiny bit of yellow. And let's just make a darker green, okay? Now I'm going to tap that out. And if I'm saying this is the dark side, right, maybe I'll very gently, barely touch it like this. I might even exaggerate some of these dark areas. See, like that? Okay, because wherever there's a light, there's a dark. And I'm going to just sort of suggest a dark pattern where the light's hitting it from this angle, isn't hitting it on that side. Maybe there's a little bit of a ridge here, and a hill down here like that. Now this is what we've created pretty quickly.
Let me catch up with some of these questions. We got a couple questions in here.
Okay.
We did have one earlier while you were doing the varnishing, and I want to. What do you clean the brushes after varnishing? We use the soap. What's that soap that's in the big tub?
You want to grab this is the soap I buy all the time, and it's expensive, but I buy it.
Can I get it while I'm just sat down?
Well,
can I do that for you?
Yeah, would you like to? And then also, yeah, this is the, and I always, this has brush conditioner in it, and it's expensive, and like a tub of it's $20. It's a big tub. Here's the box of this, and I've been using this for like 30 years too. It's called Brush Cleaner by the Masters Brush Cleaner, and it's got conditioners for your brushes. And if you spend any money on your brushes, it lasts a long time, and it's worth it. To me, it's worth it.
Yeah, that stuff works great.
I've seen some people use something called Zote, Z-O-T-E, get it at Walmart. It's a big in the laundry section. It's $1 a bar. And that will clean stuff, but it doesn't have the conditioner in it. And I ended up kind of liking this much better. All right, so I'm rinse my brush.
Oh, no, wait, you think you were done with all the questions?
I don't know. I'm going to just, as we're going, I'm going to just keep going with this. I want to go up a little lighter now with this. Going to add a little more yellow. This is our cad yellow medium to this color. All right. And I'm going to come up a little bit lighter with the yellow. All right. And maybe add a tiny bit of cad red to that. A little bit, like less than 1%.
The brand of the varnish you use is Liquitex.
It's Liquitex, yeah. I tell you what, I've tried Golden, and I'm sure it's a wonderful varnish. It wasn't for me. Let me put it that way. All right. And I've tried some others, and I just go back to Liquitex. I just like it, I mean, but whatever, you need to use it. And the spray varnish will not seal it as well. Now, the other thing is, too, because they call it medium varnish, you can add this to your paint. Did you know that? You can add it to your paint, too.
Speaking of that, can you use a gel medium for a varnish?
Yeah, kind of. You can. You could use the gel medium for a varnish, but I like to varnish it first and then put the gel on. But if I've done the whole painting in gel medium, I might not varnish.
Okay.
Because the gel medium is like a pretty protective, right? So, all right. So now I've wiped off the brush. Now I'm going to go up a little bit lighter here. I want a little bit more yellow here. I want this lighter. So I'm going to add some more yellow to this. Maybe a tiny bit of raw umber. There. Okay, now I'm going to wipe it off. Now I'm going to say that I'm just going to tap up here like this. Just say that, look, I'm going to just say here's some even lighter areas, right, like this. Your greens will get brighter as they come forward, like this. So now all I've done is just this, and created a fairly nice, I think, landscape. We haven't put any trees in yet, but just knowing that there's a light and a dark side. So whenever you're painting anything, establish a light source. Now here's a little bit of transparent mixing white, and now I'm just going to tap that on here like this, and I want this a little bit lighter here. So I want it brighter as it comes forward. Does that make sense? Colors recede as they go back, and I'm just going to tap something on here like this. And I haven't done any brush strokes yet. We just made an underpainting. That's all we did. Okay. Now we're going to put these trees in. Okay. That's what's next. We're going to throw these trees in. Like that word, throw those trees in.
Yeah, I liked how you say that. Like we could all do that, no problem. Hey, Catherine would like to know what makes something fine art. Ooh,
well, that's an interesting question. Was that Andrew? That's an interesting question.
Catherine.
Here's the thing. That bait's been going around that for centuries. When Van Gogh was painting, they all thought his stuff was total junk. And he couldn't give it away at a garage sale. Really, honestly, it was that bad. Now his stuff is considered fine art. It's the biggest thing ever, okay?
So it's in the eye of the
Chances
beholder?
are, well, it's really, it's society kind of decides it at some point, you know. But it's usually, for instance, paintings painted on velvet are generally not considered fine art. Okay, but
You're talking the Elvis painting I got hanging in my bedroom?
yeah,
So good?
yes,
no good?
the Elvis
Wow.
painting, not considered fine art, and also generally fine art as So again, you just, you know, that's a big subject. So what I would say is that painting party art is not considered fine art, okay? But it's become such a movement, at some point it will have a place in it. It will have a place like abstract or something else. It's such a big movement across the country. Let me dry this real quick while you're, real quick, all right? I'm just going to dry
Oh,
this.
wait, okay. Go. Well, I'm not sure how quick she's going to be. We had a question in there, does she ever use a fan brush? She does not currently, but Cinnamon has one in her set, so she's going to give it a try because Cinnamon says she designed one differently and it behaves differently. So we will look at that once that becomes available. I meant before when you varnish furniture, sand, no, you don't want to sand it. Once you varnish it, you don't want to start introducing sanding, not on the acrylic anyway. Now, once you put your furniture varnish on whatever you're using, you want to follow those directions after the first coat. All right.
Okay, so we've dried that, right? Now we're going to get into the tree rule stuff, okay? We're gonna
Finally.
talk about tree rules. So let's get out the handy chalkboard.
Uh-oh.
If you remember, this was from
didn't clear it
yesterday.
off.
We got to erase all the wonderful coffee cup things we did. That's the, you know, how to draw a coffee cup. We're going to talk about tree rules. Tiger.
What?
I said tiger.
Really?
Now we're going to talk about tree rules, but yes, now we're going to talk about tree rules, but I just said tiger. All right, so now a tree, okay, a tree is generally, all right, so here's our tree. So I've got a tree that's coming up like this, and it's branching off like this, okay? What happens underneath it? It's doing this at the bottom, right?
So we're going to draw the roots in too?
Yeah, we're going to draw the roots in too. Now sometimes they come up on the top, okay? Sometimes they'll come up on the top where they kind of sneak out them little roots, you know. Okay, so here they are coming out, but they're under here. See, does that make sense? And sometimes you'll see some tree roots coming out. So how would you draw them? They're kind of going this way, kind of upside down branches. Now what you never want to do, okay, and trees generally, there's all kinds of trees, but generally they're wider. Here's a rule. They're wider here than they are up here, okay? So what you don't want, you've got a tree like this, and then you don't want it to do this, like it swallowed something, okay? And then do that, okay? So you don't want that, okay? And then, so like for instance, if you were doing a tall birch tree, for instance, right, here's my tall birch tree, like this. And so sometimes you'll see people with their painting, they get a little funny, and then they do that. Okay, so that doesn't work, okay? And the other thing is, that's rule number one, that, you know, you got to understand that palm trees sometimes are the same height going up, okay? Sometimes that can be true, but generally speaking, they're generally wider and go up, okay? All right. Now the other thing is with trees is that if you've got branches, you know, here's my tree and I'm going to put a branch. If I've got a branch here, it didn't grow like that in an afternoon. What happened to it? I mean, the branch sort of started, okay, and then it went a little bit, and then it went a little bit, okay, you know, and then it kept splitting off, okay, and it was thicker here where it, like your arm is to the shoulder, where it attached to the trunk, and like a tree, it gets thinner, okay. That's interesting. And then the other thing is, if you've got a branch here, you can't put one here. If one's growing out in your yard like that, you'd prune this one off, okay? So that's a really good rule, okay? Now trees have a light source, generally speaking, there's a light source. So one side of your tree is going to be darker than another. So if this, we're going to say the yellow is my light source, so then I'm going to have one side of my tree's got to be pretty much darker, okay? And to create it to be round. Okay, so there's a light source. There's another rule. Now the last one I think is kind of important is that if you've got a tree, like this. We have a tree here, okay? Now, what do you do about the branches aren't like a coat rack, okay? I mean, what do you do about the branch that's looking right at you, the one that's coming right at you? How do you draw that in? Well, let's just turn this upside down and talk about it. So what you have to suggest is, obviously, if there's a tree coming up like this, and you've got some branches and then it's split off, but you want to put one looking right at you. Generally what you do as an artist is you have it coming from here and you split it off at an angle like that. All right? It might split off here at an angle. If it's a tree with a bunch of leaves, okay, all right, and then you're going to put the leaves in front of it to suggest that the branch is coming right at you. Okay? So just knowing that's kind of the anatomy of trees. And just look at them for a while and think about them. Okay? So that means when you're drawing trees, they're kind of crookedy. They're not noodles. I see a lot of noodle branches, you know, like grass, and they're not that. So what you've got to think about them is they're more interesting if they're a little crookedy. I like that word. That's not the secret word, but crookedy is a good word. You know. So you want to just, and they get thinner as they go out. So they're not hard to do. And here's the thing, when you're drawing a hand, if you're missing a thumb, people notice. If you're drawing a tree and you're missing a few branches, people think, oh, there was a windstorm. You know, no, it's not a big thing, right? So you actually have, trees are some of the most forgiving things you can draw. All right, so, and then the other thing is that you want to have a tree like this. You want it to come all the way off the canvas. You want to come up. You see, sometimes people, I saw some of my birthday giveaway paintings come back, and they had some trees in them, and they'd stop them before they went off the canvas. So I'm gonna say I want my tree to stop up here, and I want it to be kind of curving. So I'm going to do a few dots. All right. Then I've got one that I want over here, so I'm going to put a couple of dots, like that. And then I've got maybe it's a small one here, and oh, I've got another one that's going to cross over here like that. Okay, I'm going to say it's like this. All right, so I put my dots in where I know I want my tree. Now I'm going to get one of these nifty ruby satin silver angle brushes, which are my favorite, honestly. You'd think I made this up. You know, honestly, we want you to win on your painting things. John and I, and the artists on YouTube, they want you to be able to paint what they're painting, right? And if the better your brush, the easier it is for you to do it. I had a student. Lou, if you're watching, I'm gonna call you out on this, man. He took lessons from me in person for years at Jerry's, okay? And I love Lou, but and he was buying stuff like crazy. He'd probably spent a couple $100 every couple of weeks there buying stuff, but he wouldn't buy a good brush. I never could understand. Couldn't get him to buy a good brush, and then he'd struggle and struggle and struggle. I said, I don't get it. And I never had a student argue with me more than Lou. We argued all the time. I just finally said that you pay for my opinion, and then you just do the opposite. It's so extraordinary to me, right? But eventually, now he's finally gotten good brushes, and oh, you're right, that was a good thing. And he's selling his paintings, he's showing all over, and he's learned his craft, and he's doing great. But I'm just saying that don't resist this. A brush like this, a little like this, I think that it retails for under $10, and I'm telling you, it's well worth it. Okay, and if you go to the brush guys, this is a 3/8 inch. No, what is this? A 1/2. Let me put my glasses on. Let me put my glasses. 3/8 inch ruby satin silver short angled angle. I can't say enough about them. All right, so now what you do when we're painting these in is you're going to start with some burnt umber and a little Dazzling purple. You're going to make a really dark color. We're going to start with our darkest color first. All right, that's the other thing. We're going to do that. Now I know that. What do I know is I know that this tree coming up like this. I didn't have to draw it all the way in. I just put a few dots where it went. Okay? And I know that it's going to be wider down here at the bottom than it is at the top. That's easy. I know that. And I'm going to have it fork right here. And look at this brush. Can your brush do that? Look at that. You can zoom in on me, John. Just look at how I'm able to lift it up and just using the last little hairs make a thin little branch, right? See, it's wide there, okay? So there, I'm going to have it a little bit thicker here. Now I've got a branch that's the tree that's coming over here. Going to get some more paint like this, and I'm going to come up like this. It's going to be a little crooked, coming out this way. All right, so remember it's wider at the bottom, so I'm going to give it a base, And you see I'm getting paint each time. Now, as I want to come up to the canvas, let me put a little more brown in it. It's a little purple on me. All right, so now I'm going to go, remember it's thinner up here, like that. It's thinner up here, but I want this fairly wide, so I'm going to widen this tree out like this, and see I'm pulling it toward me, and I'll pull it this way. Okay, and I'm going to just say it's a little bit wider here, so it's a little more substantial than that one. Okay, and then I've got another one that I'm going to say is over here like this, and then using just the tips of the brush here like that to put this in. Okay, now I might take a tiny bit of water, let me show you this, a little bit of water, just, and then tap it off just on the tips. Don't dive in your water like it's a swimming pool. All right, now we're going to come up like this, barely touch it, using just the last few hairs of this angle, right? Tipping it up. Okay, and we're going to keep branching off. Just barely touch it. Okay, and because we sanded the canvas, this is easier to do, by the way, right? All right, so we got that one, and then I think we said this one was a little wider down here, like that. All right, so we're going to give this one a little bit of width coming up this way, like that. Let me just say that was coming up wider here, so I'm going to widen up this one. And then I've got one that's right here. It's coming this way, and it's going to, part of it's going to cross over this one, like this, and fork and come up. A little tiny bit of water on the brush. Now, one of the things that you can do when you're doing tree branches, you know, and don't think this is not cheating. Did you know, if you're having trouble doing these small branches, you can buy acrylic inks and acrylic pens that you know, like they used to fill in the old-fashioned things, and you can actually fill in some brown paint. And if you were doing a tree with lots of tiny little branches, you know, I mean, a lot of them, you could do that. I mean, you know, or you could still do this, but I'm just saying you could do that, right? So we're saying this is forking this way, and I'm going to come up like this, and just bring this up like that, and maybe just come up like that again. Maybe it's just going to peter off. Some of these are bigger than others, right? And I'll fork this one up this way. All right, so there, and let's see, what about this? I think I want this tree to connect in here. So they're all sort of connecting, and maybe we've got some tree roots coming down this way. Okay, we talked about that, right? We've got some tree roots coming off of here like that. Like that. Maybe there's one coming this way. All right, on our hill like this. So let's just curve that one like that. Okay, so that's part of our tree. Now we haven't put all the branches on this one, but we certainly could put some more. Remember, I told you it's thicker at the shoulder. It's coming up again. Water on just the tip of the brush. Come up like this, and then there's some more branches. All right. So far so good. Yeah. Now what you've got to do is, this is just your dark part of the tree. I mean, this is just a painting about a tree. All right, this little cosp. They would call this a cosp of trees. Cosp is part of the thing. It is not the secret word, but it's a good word, though, don't you think? Good word. Maybe I'm going to have this branch crossing over here, like that. All right. So now, remember we talked about there's a light and a dark side to these trees, right? So we've got to put a light side to the trees as well. And we're saying the light's coming this way. We've established that with our background. So how are you going to do that? What we're going to do is we're going to dry it, and then we're going to put the light on. Okay, we're going to put the light side on after we dry it. So any questions before I dry it?
You know, that's a very good question. That in itself is a great question.
Okay. No, but he's looking for questions. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I'm going to ask you again to subscribe, because we're very close to 30,000 subscribers, and we're going to do a big party when we get there, right? We're about 200 short.
A big party.
Big party. And this is not because we're about subscribers. Somebody said somebody's just about subscribers. We're not. We're about you guys, but we appreciate it when you subscribe. Then you'll know when we're doing these live things, and we do these wonderful secret live things called Be a Fly on the Wall. We'll get a lot out of our channel. We love it, and this is a great place to party, good place to know other people. I want to talk again while he's looking for a question. I'm letting this dry. Painting buddies. While I'm drawing, John's going to show, our friend Sharon made a painting buddy with a gal in Bonnie in Germany. and Sharon and Bonnie was able to send her painting back and forth to Sharon, and Sharon was able to translate some stuff for her, and that she didn't understand, and between the encouragement she got from Sharon and the fact that I'm her personal art coach, she could send something to me for help. We're going to show you Bonnie's painting. But the idea is, if you have a painting buddy, and Cinnamon said she was encouraging this too. We just think this is a good idea to find somebody in this gang of, if you need a painting buddy, that's someone that you email with your artwork back and forth, and you encourage each other. Okay, like your pen pal, and then when you go to post it on Facebook or something, or you send it to me or whatever, you've got a little bit of, you've got some encouragement on the way, because otherwise you're just a lone artist in your lone little studio painting until you get into this group, which we like to apply groups for that. All right, John, are you going to show that?
Yeah, 1 second. Christy just made a $5 donation to keep this bird. See the bird? This is a tree you created. You created a woodpecker.
Oh, look at that. Christy, this is gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The bird.
Oh, look at that. There's a bird there. Okay.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Christy. Appreciate that. We really appreciate all that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're going to save the bird. We have a new campaign, Save the Bird.
Save the bird.
All right, I'm silencing you. Okay, she's gone right now. Let me bring up that lesson she was talking about. That was from Bonnie in Germany. She was saying she wanted to paint this ode to coffee. And she's deaf, but she was able to do it with the help of a couple questions to us, but then she partnered up with Sharon, who basically helped her through it all. And that is what she ended up with, and we think it's pretty darn good for somebody that can't hear Ginger and know exactly what she's saying. I think that is a pretty awesome painting. Another one we had come in today was Kathleen sending some flowers, and look at those. Isn't that just a gorgeous?
Look at that. Am I back up? Look at that. Don't you love those flowers? And she just sent that to share. I think that is just absolutely stunning. And that's those blushing poppies is a video on YouTube we've got on here. If you haven't tried that painting, that is really a great painting. And we want to thank you very much. All right, so this is dried.
Wait, before you get started, a couple questions went by in regards to the painting buddy. How do you get a painting buddy? We are setting up a form on our website. We don't want to do a Facebook thing because a lot of our members do not like Facebook, i.e. me included. So we don't want to run it through Facebook. We want it on our website where everybody can get to it. Members of our website or non-members will be able to participate. But you will have to at least create an account if you're going to be participating on our forum. The forum we hope to get launched very, very soon. I've got to get some video tutorials done, and we're going to do a live YouTube walkthrough on it sometime when I get that set up and Ginger gets caught up with her paintings.
Yeah, in the meantime, if you want a painting buddy when you're on one of these live chats, just say, I'd like a painting buddy, and see if anybody responds, right?
A couple of people have already palled up and doing things.
Pal up. This is a good thing, because you email back and forth, this is what I painted. Oh, no, that's so good, because if you've got friends that aren't art friends, after a while they're getting a little old. So what did you paint today? Okay, I'll look at it.
Yeah,
really,
whatever.
I want your opinion, and they don't want to hurt your feelings. Whatever, right? Your painting buddy gets you. This is what I'm saying. Your painting friends get you. We get you, and they get you. All right. So now we're going to take this little palette knife, this little small one right here, and this is Jerry's. I like Jerry's palette knives, and the reason I do it, it's my creative mark, is that you can leave them in water and be a very bad palette knife, Mommy, and leave them in water and everything, and they don't rust or anything. And I mean, of course you shouldn't do that, but
Hey, that looks like a brand new one. Whose is that?
That's John's, and he's very worried I'm going to get paint all over it. Silly man, right? All right, so we're gonna we're gonna take a little bit of burnt umber. Like
You're not going to destroy that bird, though.
No, we're going to take over here like that, little bit of burnt umber, and we're going to take some white, and we're going to make just a light color like that, kind of a beige color. And I'm going to clean off the knife because this feels a little lumpy, and I'm going to kind of flatten out the paint. You see how I'm flattening it out? Some of that white was a little lumpy. Now I'm just going to scrape just a little bit on the side of the knife. And then what I'm going to do is, you can zoom in if you want. I'll put my glasses on.
Wait. Before you start, can you flip up the side of your knife? Let me just going to be there. There we go.
See, like this? Just
Okay.
going to start here like this. I just have it on the side of my knife.
Yeah, let me get...
And let me just flatten it out so you can see it. and I'm going to just scrape up a little like this. See that?
Okay.
And I'm going to start right here, almost vertically on the edge, and then I'm going to tip it toward me, and I'm just going to pull.
So you're doing little baby slices.
Little bitty slices, and I'm pulling it toward me. I'm pushing and pulling it toward me, and as I go on up like that, see?
Cool.
Now I'll do that over here on this one. You know, you want to come out kind of a little bit. Sometimes it helps to come a little bit away from the edge of the tree. Now this is nice for this size painting. If I was using a bigger painting, I would use a knife like this.
Right.
But this is perfect for this little painting here like this. Now see how I'm just pulling it like that. Like that. There you go. Now we're going to do this one.
And I'm sorry, but I missed. Where's the light source on this video?
The light's just coming from that way.
Okay.
So we had this whole thing with the arrow. How'd you miss that? What were you
I was
doing?
probably running around picking up something.
You were probably running around out in the room. Did you leave the room or something while we were
Yeah, I
coming
must
up with
have.
this? That must have been huge. Travis must have left the room.
Oh,
Okay.
Andrew's on tonight, and he says, my family always says my paintings are amazing.
Oh, thanks, Andrew. I mean, Andrew's paintings are amazing. He does great work. And, you know, Andrew and I have never met, and yet he's able to take lessons from me. He lives thousands of miles away. He lives in Haiti, and he's able to take painting lessons because he sends me his art, and I make comments back. And when I tell you, John's Gallery membership, $7 and no, it's $9.95 for 7 days. It's a deal, you guys. And you know, and when you sign up as a monthly member, you get personal art coaching. And where are you going to get that for $21 a month?
We froze up again. One moment, please. Please stand by for these emergency messages.
We froze up
Ding,
again.
ding, 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 ding. Late breaking news. Bad stream is being received. Ding, 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 ding. This program will resume shortly. Did you ever have that?
Oh yeah, listen. When I was a kid growing up, television was a really iffy thing.
Yeah.
I mean, iffy.
All three channels of it.
Yeah. And then, when I lived in Colorado, we only had one. We had to, whatever was on.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
still
really
painting
sure
this.
what
Is
we're
this
getting at
should
all.
I not be painting it?
You're not even doing anything on this feed right now. You're frozen.
So now what?
Well, I'm not really sure. It says I'm feeding, cannot do the 30 frames a second, but it's still kicking it out, and because it's not getting there, please stand by. Hey, can you guys hear us at all? Nod your head. Love John's Martian. Oh, they must be hearing my Martian voice. John, are you dating yourself? Of course. Good with words.
How is that even possible?
I'm not
doing
really
such
sure.
a great picture too. You guys,
It
you're
really
missing
is.
So
You
much.
got to see what's coming up. I'm refreshing my screen to see if it makes a difference. It did. Refresh your screen, everybody.
Refresh your
Refresh.
screen.
I got her back. Refresh, refresh, refresh.
All right, now look, I've gone around and done this little palette knife thing. Now I got to do the next step, which is the next layer, which is the next white thing. Let's just get the crust off the paint. Okay. Now let's take a little yellow oxide and warm this up. Okay.
That's
And
your
the
gold
same
color.
color, a little white, little yellow oxide, and then warm this up a little bit, right? Okay, I'm going to clean off the knife like that. Let me just fold this paper up like this and clean off my knife like that. Okay. Oh, you got to practice using those palette knives, you guys.
I would buy a bunch of 6x8 paper and play.
Practice. Now look here. Here's the next light area, and it's not so much. See,
No, you're going right over the wet one. You didn't
right
dry.
over the wet. Didn't dry
Okay. 'Cause, I mean, they didn't get to see everything, so I want to.
it. Didn't dry anything. Okay. Now look at that. Isn't that pretty?
That is so cool.
And again, I'm coming here, so it's like a two-tone, three-tone, like a three-tone car, you know? You scrape it up
remember
on the
those?
side. Now, we've got a really good video on YouTube. It's got like 200,000 views on how to use a palette knife. If you haven't seen that, you can join the crowd that's watched it. That's gone global. It's really a good one, right? Like that. See? Look at our tree. Now, we're going to just come up here like this.
Having a light source.
It's just, you know, having
Yeah.
a light source and having a you know, and being a dramatic lighting. Sometimes when you go to a museum, you'll see some of these old master paintings, and the lighting is so dramatic in the picture, you know. And a good one is that. If you haven't seen, do we have a picture of that? I hate to get up again, but the one with the lady in the reflections.
We have the one we can show on YouTube. The one that we had her do her. Let me show you.
Yeah. We can
That's going to
you
show,
one.
because I mean
We've got
that's
it. We've
tremendous
got one.
difference.
I like to go back and paint the old dead artists, you know, and introduce you to ones you've never heard of. Everybody's heard of Monet
Here, look
and
at this.
Van Gogh
Look at
and
this.
stuff.
Here we
But there's a ton of it before and the after. This was this artist had the lighting on the shoulders and the face was the big thing. So in the original art painting, I was going to say, do you have my original painting you can show? It's on the wall, I think. John's going to get it. But you see the before. This is what this particular artist sent me. And she had it painted all right. It was really nice, but she didn't have the dramatic lighting. But look what happened when we suggested that the main focus is up on this woman's shoulders and her bodice, all right, and then a little bit more lighting on her skirt. And so what a difference in the two pictures. And this is why lighting and your difference between lights and darks is so important. And what I've encouraged everybody to do, that's really easy with these new camera phones, anybody can do it, and look at the values and then do that with whatever your reference photo is and try to see where you are with the lights and the darks. This will really change your perspective. Now, okay, so here's the original painting. John's going to come back and I'll show you. There's my original that I did the lesson from, okay? But it's not the original because the original was done like 200 years ago, okay?
Wait.
Zoom back out.
Wait.
He's zooming back out, okay? Now look, see? It's one of the lessons on gingercooklive.gallery. This is really stunning. A lot of people have done this really big. And it's pretty. It can be anybody's friend, you know. I love this. And I love the, sometimes if you have a front-on face and it's a person, but if the person's turning away, it could be a lot of people you know. Does that make sense? So anyway, I love all this and the shoulder stuff. This is what we can learn from these old dead guys. Right,
now,
so do that.
I have to share this with. Thanks very much for the donation there from. I could not say your name and I apologize. Farida, or something like that. But Gail said, Ginger. I had to share it. That's just too funny. I loved it.
All right. You're all right. Okay. So
we know what kind of crowd we got tonight.
We got a crowd. Okay. Though you know, did you ever watch that travel? There was this guy, maybe he's still around, but he would take you all over Europe and travel with some guy, and he'd stay in cheap hotels and stuff. Remember that one? I can't remember this guy's name.
No.
But you went to some bizarre places around Europe, and I think I have a whole series of his videos that I've never watched, but I used to watch him. It's like PBS or something. It was some years ago, like 20 years ago. Maybe he's still around. Anyway, he took us to this place in Europe on some island where what they did with their people in like this, they had these salt caverns. So the bones all kind of went back into one place, piled up like cordwood, so it's everybody's bones together. And then the skulls were all painted. Seriously, true story. They were all painted like with flowers and motifs and stacked up in these salt mines. These played out salt
we
mines.
did this why?
Well, because
they were painting old dead guys.
They're painting old dead guys. That's what they did.
Okay.
And they painted old dead guys, and there was no way to bury them, right? All right. So you've seen kind of this. I've got this one. All right. Now, if I wanted, for instance, this tree to be in front of this one. Now, look, this is acrylics.
Now, wait a minute. I got to get close.
Remember that?
Oh, what's on second?
Yeah.
Those guys.
I'm going to change this. So all I have to do to change that, okay?
We are really having a problem with the feed tonight. Apologize, guys. On our end, we seem to be doing everything we're supposed to be doing.
Look,
Lynn's asking if I dry between coat of paint, you can take off your palette knife stroke or let it start dry. Can you use water on the tip of the brush and sweep with paper towel? I have no idea, Lynn, what exactly
these are the things you should try and see if you can do it. I just generally speaking in front. I mean, that's as easy as it is to change something. So one tree's in front, one tree's in back. You can change it. At some point it's nice to dry. Now here's the thing about palette knife painting is that it uses a ton of paint, okay? Ton of paint. So you're going, really? Yeah, I'm absolutely really.
What are you doing?
I'm saying it uses a ton of paint. Right now I'm mixing some green. Why do you ask?
Well, now how can you extend your paint?
Well, 10 to 1 or something. The ratio is staggering. You can take up to 50% like a gel medium and add to it, or a modeling paste, and that will extend it. All right, so I'm just going to let me dry this real quick, and I'm going to show you, put a little moss on here, okay? All right, ready?
Yep. Okay, while she's doing that, I want to show you guys, somebody asked, how do you find the paint that the paintings that we currently have for sale? Let me just bring those up for a second. On gingercooklive.gallery, if you go to the upper right-hand corner of our homepage, you'll see original art for sale. Right now, there's a black logo with the gold seal. That will be changing the picture shortly, but back to Ginger.
All right, so here we go. Now we're gonna just, we got a little green here. I'm gonna add a little more yellow. Let's use some of that cad yellow. Let's see, that's the cad yellow light. Let's add a little of that to that. Let's lighten this up a bit, right? All right, and I'm gonna just come along here because I've dried it. And I'm just gonna let some of this grass kind of,
So it's kind of like a moss or a grass going over it.
Gonna grow over it, and I can take a little bit of this yellow here, like that, saving the parrot.
Here's a weird question for you. Could I use a kitchen knife if I don't have a palette knife?
Back in the day.
Or use an icing. You'd have the icing knives.
Yeah, you can use icing knives and stuff, yeah.
It's just, it has to be comfortable in your hand, really.
Yeah,
right?
that's really, and you don't want plastic. Plastic won't work, okay? So back in the day, I do love that story. You know, this always
back
dates you.
in the day.
Back in the day, you know, back when I was, you know, this really ages everybody because we all can't help ourselves. We do this. Remember when, right? You guys, you know, those.
Don't you remember? Yeah.
Don't you remember when? Kind of thing. I'm making a dark green here again, right? Let's see what we're going. You couldn't get a lot of palette knives. The art store just had a few things like this and some long ones, but there weren't any knives. You know, women really didn't have access to that. I guess some did, but most of them didn't. Okay, here's a little dark here. We're just putting a few dark shadows here, back here, by here, like that. See? It's trying to turn this into a palette knife painting, all right? Now, this is sort of a cool picture. We haven't done much of anything to it except do that. Now, we did that much with the palette knife, all right? And we said that there was, you know, we got some highlights on the trees. Now, if you didn't have a palette knife, what could you do? Could you do a light color with let's take a little bit of
Oh, you took the bird.
What?
You just nailed the bird.
Oh, well, I haven't, oh, sorry, bird. Well, let's put some more raw umber.
Well, you had it last. Don't look at me. Mm-mm.
Oh, listen to him. Listen to him.
I've been over here.
Uh-huh. All right, so here we go. So here's a little raw umber. Sorry, bird. Let's give you a
Does the
head
hibiscus
back.
have any bids on
There
it?
you
Yes,
go.
the
Head's
hibiscus
back.
does.
Put his head back. All right, so little raw umber. I think I want, let's take a little burnt sienna. That's a nice color. Let's just do that. Take a little burnt sienna out. That's a good color. I don't have to mix it then. And let's see, a little bit of white. Let's just warm this up here, okay? There we go. So we've got this warmer white. Now, maybe a little more titanium with that. Yeah, all right, like that. Now, you can turn this brush, and then you can come like this. Maybe I'll make this a little lighter. You can come with your brush, and you can get a similar effect. Palette knife's easier, but you can get a similar effect. You can take your brush like this with one of these angle brushes, and you can add some more branches. See, like that? You can come back and you can do, I mean, this is just really simple to do. And
if you have a brush like that.
Yeah, I like them for about 10 minutes and then I don't like them anymore. Because then they're not pointing anymore. Maybe I left them sitting in the water too long and now they're once they kind of get a bend in them, they just are kinked. They're really not happy anymore. All right, so look at that. Isn't that cute? Now, what else could we do here? Well, we've dried all this, so one of the things we could do to make this painting kind of interesting, right, is we could just add some flowers or something in front of these trees. We could add, you know, we could do that. So let's take a little phthalo blue now and yellow and make a bright green. See that? And let's take a little bit of burnt sienna and put in there and kind of darken it up so it's not so bright. And we might come up here like this using a brush like this and just push that, and then maybe come this way with a few little greeny things going that way. All right, that's it, you know, that's okay. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do a lot. Just want you to see how easy it is to just sort of make up a little picture. Okay, and these brushes, you see, you can do these little small things like this. See these wonderful little tiny branches. Now, I'm going to just take some white and add to that green, like that, and a little bit of yellow oxide. All right, there you go. A little bit of yellow oxide, maybe some yellow. Let's put some yellow in there and the white. Let's take the rest of the white. Okay, but that's sort of a blue-green. Do you see it's different? That's like a blue-green color. Now, we want a blue-green. We're just going to come up here next to those and add some of that, some of this grass. Okay, like this, maybe just a bit like this. Here, some of this color like that. That's kind of bright and light. I think I want this a little bit darker back here because it's kind of in the back, so I'll darken that.
So
one
here's
out,
another reason why you make your own green.
Yeah, so I've got this blue-green color, and then I had that, and then I could come up here with a little more white and yellow, and I might warm up one of it. Now, okay, here we go. Now I'm going to put this, and maybe there's just something coming up like that. Something by our tree. That I want that darker. That's too light because it's behind the tree, so it wouldn't be that light. Okay. So all right. So I've got some cute little plants or something growing there, and then I can take some white, and I'm just gonna suggest some sort of little flowers growing here like that.
You do a lot of suggestion with Impressionism, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. You just. I guess suggest is the word because we're gonna. I want these little flowers, and I'm gonna keep them white first, right? And then there's some tiny. Well, there's some flowers. Okay. And I mean, there we go, like that. There's some little flowers growing. Now, what's wrong with this picture? Well, lots of things, but what's the thing that what's incongruent about this picture?
You're stumping the panel.
Okay, well, I'm going to dry those and put some flowers on now, and then I'll tell you, okay? Okay?
Okay. All right, she's off and drying again. So, let's see what else we got to show tonight. Did Bonnie, coffee. Oh, we have a, that was from RG, I believe. One of our international folks. I apologize. I have enough time with English. What are the most basic colors you would need if you're going to buy the bare essentials? Basically what's on her palette would be the recommendation. And she's back.
Oh,
Audio.
come on, isn't that beautiful? Don't you love she named the newspaper after herself, Hermes Post? Isn't that just awesome? I love that painting. Just again, that was originally done by one of those old dead artists in the 1600s. That's one of the lessons on our gallery.
Congruent.
Incongruent. What I'm talking about, for those of you who are just, English is like your second language, and she's going, what did she say now?
Yeah, that's
right?
me. It's my second language.
So incongruent means it doesn't go. I mean, it's there, but they don't go. And why don't they go? Because these trees don't have any leaves on them, and these flowers aren't growing in this environment. And we're not, and would these flowers be growing at this time of year with this dead tree? Now, it's true that the tree could be dead, all right, but...
If there are flowers, there should be leaves, according to Tia.
Yeah, there should be some... So we can kind of kill the flowers a little bit by making, let's just take some orange flowers.
Well, is that very nice? Dead artists killing flowers? What's with you tonight?
I'm just going to suggest some of these orange flowers here, okay? And that could be maybe some that are blooming in the fall, less likely the time of year. So that would be one way to do it, is to just sort of darken the flowers. And you want to, let's put a little bit of red with this, red and green. So I sure flowers, okay? And maybe just take a little bit more of the red and yellow, cad red medium and yellow. Let's see, let's try cad yellow medium and cad red medium, which is an orange color, okay? Little tiny bit of purple to that and dull it. Purple will... Let's just kill that. There we go. Kill that back a bit. There we go. Perfect. Now, we're just going to say we're going to tap in some more, some of this, right? But again, it's incongruent with the, unless you put some trees, unless you put some leaves on the trees, this is incongruent.
At least a few leaves of something.
So you've got to put either leaves on the trees or not put the flowers. So that's the thing
it has to make sense.
People said, have a reference. I'm just going to, somebody's going to say, what can you do here, right? Have a reference. Okay. Here, I'm just going to show you. And I'm going to show you why you'd want to paint that out. Because, let's see, you're going to want to paint that out because even though you could put that, and this is one of my classic kind of annoyances with people is that if you're making it up, at least you've got to. Thomas Kincaid made up a lot of stuff. Here, let's just put some of our background back, okay, like this. I'm going to just a bit. And then I can come back in here with some burnt umber. Do I have any out? No. I'm just going to show you how to put this painting back, by the way. So why you wouldn't want to do something. I mean, this is all about doing, why you want to do something, why you don't want to do something, all right? So here we go. So let's okay, here's our tree branch, here's some of our trees again, right, like that, coming down like this. Maybe I've got make it about the tree, not about anything else, right? Make the painting that simple, and make the painting about the tree. So just put, and remember how you made your colors so you can put them back, okay? Okay, and I mean, just see how much better that looks already if we did that. Now, for me, the thing of this is an old tree. You could change the horizon line by putting an ocean back here like this. You could change the horizon line, but I kind of like this the way it is. Okay. All right, and I'm going to say that. Let's see. We're going to say that there's there. All right, that's pretty good. I like that right there. And then, not making it up. And just deciding that that's just never great, that you've got a reference photo and you've got them for a reason, even if you combine 2 or 3. Thomas Kincaid was a classic one for, he would put every flower in the garden that bloomed regardless of the season, and he got away with it, and that kind of works, but even though people kind of knew that wasn't so, all right? When people kind of knew that couldn't really be true, but he got away with it. But again, you can see where the painting wasn't as interesting than if we just made the whole picture about the tree, all right? Now, I'd much rather the background back. To me, that would be a much better thing to do to make the painting more interesting, and I'll take an old brush and scrub it in. This is an example of a brush that has kind of bit the dust. This is a Princeton and Snap, and it's, this is just a bright brush, and it's bit the dust. People say, why do you like the ruby satin silver? Says they never do that to me. They don't do that, okay? But again, I don't throw them out because you need a brush for that. So now I'm going to turn this around. Sorry about the bird. Now, here's some transparent zinc white, okay? Now I'm going to come up and push this hill back into the atmosphere like this, back like that, and suggest that maybe some clouds are rising up from behind this, and that this is sort of a foggy, you know what I mean? It's got kind of foggy here like this, and we're just going to push these, push all this back. And what I mean by that is that we're just going to suggest that all of this ground cover is back like that. So see how we push the hills back. Now here, let's do this one too. We're going to say that there's a cloud back here, and it's like kind of misty smoke here, like this. And so this is all going back like that. You can just, there we go. All right, like that there. That's much better. Maybe even here a little bit. And then in between, probably would have done this before, right? But I wanted you to kind of see how that could happen, where you could just say that this is what you call atmospheric perspective, where you take the very back hills and push them back, and then if you're saying that happened, then let's take some yellow and orange and white maybe. Here, I'm out of titanium. Who knows that we've just turned our whole palette upside down here again. So I want to emphasize more of the roots on this tree and make it more about that. And one thing I could do is I could sit there and say, let's see, here's a little brown and purple. I could say that there's a difference between. I could separate the hills like this. I could say that there's a hill difference here. Now, this hill is in front of that one. Okay? All right, and then I might say this is All right, that hill's in front of that one. Here's, I'm going to emphasize the tree roots now, like this from these trees, and make make this painting about the tree roots. Now you can make up, this is what I'm talking about when you're looking at your artwork and saying, what should I do next? I mean, people will look at something and say, oh, I want to paint these little flowers, or I want to paint this and that. But I want you to understand why you paint something, why you paint something a certain way. All right. Let's just say here's a tree roots like that. Now there's no light on them, so they have to have some light. So now we're talking about, let's see there. Let's just get a little bit of light color, right like that. Now I'm not using the palette knife anymore. I'm just using the edge of my brush like that, and I'm bringing these tree roots out like that. Now look what's happened. And then the same thing here. You get the lights on the top of them, and as they come down here, we'll fork them off just like we did at the top of the tree. Okay, see how we're forking this tree roots off, and then maybe we're going to fork. This could almost be a shadow, but that's okay. We're going to say that, let's just put another one here, like this. Like that. And we're going to say it's coming out this way. Okay, another tree root coming out that way, and maybe out to the side. Won't be as bright over this way. Now, it wouldn't be as bright on this side because of the, let me put that raw umber. That's purple. Was that umber? No, that's umber. Wouldn't be as light on this side because it's this side's in shadow. But okay, so that would be less light. Okay, and but it might be as light on this side. So you could have fun. You could find a picture, find a photograph. Again, you don't have to make it up, but find a photograph of an old tree. Study the lights and darks of it. Find the tree roots like that. Discover how you would want to paint that tree. Okay. What would what would be interesting about painting that tree? And how would you use a palette knife with the tree roots? Would you use a brush? Would there be shadows? Okay. What would happen? Okay. Is it a landscape? Could you have some dry brush back there instead of this? Could you have some kind of more of some dry brush coming up like this, more in the golds? That's not bright green. What would happen if you had something like that coming up there, or maybe here? Okay, so we've changed the landscape, right? So now the topography of this is wrong. Okay, every time we change something, something else is wrong because we're saying the light came from here. So then maybe we would take a little bit of ultramarine blue and water. Okay, I'm just going to suggest this and just glaze over this green right here and push that back. Just push that back so that's not so bright. And then maybe take some lighter green, maybe something more in a gold color, and suggest some gold like this. Now look, we've changed it again. Okay, we're just saying that there's our hill, and we've changed it again. See, and again, and we're just going to come up here like this, and add. Now we've got some kind of gold. Now these gold flowers are sort of believable, aren't they? The same thing here, like that. We got some coming up like that. Okay.
Now it's starting to all fall together.
Yeah, but again, it would have been better. I got to tell you, it would have been better not to have to have made it up at all. Is to just find a picture. I'm just telling you, find a picture.
Well, this is what happens when you come up with something out of your head.
Yeah, let's see, I don't know where that came from even. I think I was smearing that with my hand. Hang on a second.
Oh, I couldn't even possibly think
I
that would
don't
be
even remember this there at all, so let me just erase that.
Or try to.
Oh, that doesn't erase. Oh, that's okay.
It's been there a while.
I know how to fix that. I'm empowered to fix that. So again,
it's acrylics. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I'm making it up as I go, and I can put the mixing white back. Let's just make that dark. Let's just paint that dark. Here, let's just paint that dark, and take it out. I mean, people always think, "Oh, there's a mistake. My painting's ruined." No, nothing's ruined. Nothing's ruined. I'd say let's make that darker.
Hey, what do you think about putting the bird up into the tree? Save the bird.
Okay, so I'm just going to sit there and say, here's my dark, like that, right? My dark hill, like that. And again, you know, we're talking about, what are we talking about here with the mixing white? We don't know, but I'm just saying, you can change your hills, you know, just saying, you can change stuff. I'd prefer not to have the gold there. The gold is further back, so let's just do that, and then I'll take some mixing white, dry that, and put some mixing white over it, and you'll see what I'm talking about, right? All right, so there's the back of my hills, and maybe I'm going to say this is dark right here, and then I've got some gold going up here like this. I've got something like this on this side of the hill, like that, that's coming up this way. Or not, I don't like that. Never mind. Don't you love it when you can sit there and say, no, I don't want to do it?
Get out the squirt bottle and
because
erase
you've
it.
dried it? Okay. All right, so now, let me dry that one more time. I'm going to put some mixing white over that, and then we'll be good and we'll finish this. But I just want you to see how you would paint a tree like this, and
change the mood several times.
And change the mood several times of the painting, but really, I mean, here's what we started with, okay? This idea, and now we've got this tree. And let's see, I'll dry this real quick, and then we'll go on. All right?
Okay. I saw somebody ask about on the forum. In the forum, if you join up, you'll be able to have your own albums that will have your paintings in it, and you can have as many albums as you want to separate things out. Again, once I get a chance, I'm going to do a live show, and that'll stay up on YouTube so people can use it as a reference on how to use our forum and get the best out of it. We're still setting it up, and we've changed a few things. Have Ginger put a big raven in the tree, please. I don't think she's going to do that.
All right, so I'm going to come back here. I've dried this, right? Now I've got my mixing white, right? And I've got my zinc, and I'm just going to come up here like this, and just scribble in. Just kind of, again, using this same idea, just suggests that this tree is all in the, you know, this is all in the background, and this is all in the front. You know, this is in the foreground, and maybe we've got some mist coming up here like this, some more clouds like that, something like this. All right, so there you go. Oh, that's pretty. I like that already. See, maybe there's some sort of mist, and we've created something completely different by suggesting that. Let's see, what have I got? Australian sienna is another good one for that too. Put a little of that out. If you haven't seen that color, that's great. Just try a little of that here. There, just going to come up here like that. Suggest that's there too. I don't know why I did that, but I don't like it. Don't you love it? Since Ginger's taking it, then all right there. Oh, perfect. There. That's what we needed. A little bit of a dark patch right there, so it's not all there. Okay. There's a little bit of dark patch. Here's our light patch. Here's some Australian sienna. Here's a lighter yellow now. Okay, remember we're still in the, now we're into the Australian sienna. If you haven't tried that, that's a translucent gold color. Also gold, here we go. Here's some lighter, here's a few little lighter flowers on this hill like this. See, light brings it forward to you like that. See it's bringing it forward, you know? So you're talking about your light is everything. All right, let me just have some water there, okay? Light brings things, lighter color like yellows bring it forward. If you put a little purple in yellow, it will push it back. Why will purple push your yellow back?
I bet it has something to do with being opposite on the color wheel.
It's opposite on the color wheel. So if you want to push a yellow back, you put a little purple in it, like that. You know what I mean? So if you want to bring it forward, you add more. So if you wanted to say, for instance, that here's some mixing white, there's some, fun little, little flowers that are growing on here. This is what these funny little brushes are good for. After they've all frayed and gone to, as my mother would say, gone to pot, that you can use them for something like that. Plant some little flowers. That's going to be fun. And you could come over here like this on the other edge of this hill and let's just finish this hill off here like that. So that there's our, okay. And then, what could you put here? I don't know. I kind of like it. We've kind of made some mountains. we've got a tree, we've got a foreground, we've got some flowers, kind of bright, kind of bright orangey, prettier ones in the front, like this. Let's see, what do we got here? I'm kind of out of paint. But I think we've got kind of a neat composition. But the main thing is, what we covered was tree rules. And let's go over them again one more time before I finish off with this. What are the tree rules? Trees are, 1, they are wider at the bottom, get thinner at the top, okay? All right, that's what you want to, they have a light and a dark side to them, okay? If they have a branch, and I didn't do one of those. Let's put one in, too. Let's take a tiny brush and put one of these branches facing us, right? Let's do that. As long as I'm, gosh, every time I turn around, I'm out of paint. Here, isn't that interesting? Here we go. Let's bring a branch toward us. Remember, I'm going to say there's a branch toward us. So how would I want to say a branch is toward us? Let's see, where would I put one? Got to be kind of careful because I don't want to get this too busy. Really don't want to have a branch toward me. Honestly, I don't want to put one toward me because design-wise, it doesn't work, all right? It doesn't work to bring a branch toward me, but I could sure take a little brush, and, this is a tiny brush now, it's almost like a little nail brush, and if I really wanted to make this, to do more tree, I could be very elaborate with my branches now, with a tiny brush like this, and like that. You could add more detail if you wanted to. But I really just don't think I want to do much more of anything here like that, except maybe solidify this right there, like that with that. So sort of solidify that tree right there, which is kind of cool, and make sure I've got a dark root system here like that at the base. Okay, like this. But all in all, I'd say we did pretty well with this. Don't you think so, John? I
think 4 lessons in 1 is a great night.
Yes. All right. So yeah, I mean, just what do you want to know about trees, and how do you
how do you recover if you're going in the wrong direction?
If you're going in the wrong direction, you got to ask yourself those questions. What can I do? What can I take away that won't ruin the effect? What can I still leave in? Those are all things that are good to know. Here's some titanium white. Do you remember that? Like right down here at the base of this, I can just come up here like this, kind of define that, right? That little bit of, let's see, now you got to remember how you made your sky, because if you don't remember how you made your sky, you can't put it back. You guys, you know that, right? So you got to, I would say keep a journal. Remember how you made your sky color, because we're going to make it again, right? And I want to come up right like this with this brush and just touch this up right here where I was fooling around with it, see? And I can do that. I can touch that up right there. I can touch it up, places if I need to. With my sky, if you need to touch something up. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to come back and do that. I'm going to sit there and say there's a, all right. Well, again, we're making the tree up, but that's okay. If I was doing this bigger, I'd even add some more colors on this tree. You know me, right? I'd have more colors on this tree. But this is kind of a lonely little spot on the hill. Maybe you're going to have a picnic lunch here. Maybe you're going to do something.
I would definitely have a picnic lunch under a dead tree, so branches fall on my head. No doubt. That's where I'd want to be.
Well, why would you think the branches were going to fall on your head?
It's a dead tree.
But that doesn't mean anything.
It's a dead tree. It means all kinds of things.
Wow.
It's
We don't
heavy.
know about you. Okay. All right. Listen, any other questions before we say goodnight? I think this was a fun thing to do. I hope you guys had fun doing it.
Wonderful lesson. Sammy can request a realistic cat face. You can request it. I don't know if you'll get it,
All
but
right,
you
then
can
tone
request
that back down there. Don't know if you're going to get it. And, but yeah,
Rose
but it
painting.
doesn't hurt to want things, right? I think we said that we brought this trunk in front of this, didn't we? Like that. We brought
yes, you
this
did.
tree.
Yeah,
We
you had
brought
it the
this
other
tree
way
in front.
before, but you
We
flipped
had
it
it
back.
the other day before, but I wanted you to see that you could change it. It's
Yeah.
all right to change things, then it's okay.
Nothing to panic about.
No, and if you've got too much of white in one direction, you can come back with a little brown and come back. Even with a palette knife, you can recover from it. Isn't that good to know?
What
Even if-
nationality are you?
What?
What nationality are you? That's a question. Susanna wants to know what is Ginger's nationality.
Oh, and my original nationality?
Yeah. What makes you a Muttley?
Oh, a Muttley. What makes me a Muttley? I think it's Irish and French.
Ah, oui. I think I'm English and German and Polish. I know I got Polish.
And then some American Indian.
Hmm.
Some American Indian, but that's, that just depends who you're talking to in the family.
Thanks, John Ginger. Good night. What are we painting tomorrow? Huh?
Well,
it's not tomorrow yet.
Not tomorrow yet. We'll tell you tomorrow. We'll absolutely tell you tomorrow.
There'll be no doubt in our mind. We will disclose it tomorrow.
We'll tell you tomorrow. We're going to do something, but Mondays are really about, I think if you got something out of Monday today, it would be how to painting design. It's a big thing. Being congruent with your artwork. Keeping things at least in the same season. Clouds in the same season, that kind of thing. Keeping things simple. Tree rules.
Tree rules.
Tree rules.
Love it. Well, I think that's all we got. I'm not seeing any other questions in here.
All right, thanks you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Listen, shares, likes, and stuff are greatly appreciated.
Especially the stuff.
And just what is stuff?
Shares, likes, and stuff. Well, especially the stuff.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's true.
Can I see the back side of the paper? What paper? It's canvas.
Not paper, you guys. This is real canvas. This is real canvas. It comes in a canvas sheet. And
how could you enlarge this?
This is how you design your paintings when it's small like this, so you don't waste a lot of canvas, and then you go ahead and you do a large painting.
And that's the next question. How could you enlarge this painting without distorting everything?
Well, with enlarge just fine, and if I enlarged it, I might even add more detail to it too.
Yeah.
I just who knows what I might put in here now. I'd like this, but part of me could very easily. I've got a hill here, but it would be very easy to put in a bit of an ocean back here that you barely saw.
You barely saw.
This could be a cliff top cliff of an ocean. Just so easy to put in. As I'm painting this, part of me wants to.
And I thought we were done. How
we
silly
are
of me
done,
to even
but
think
I'm
that.
just saying that as I'm painting this, you can see, because those trees, this is the light's coming from this direction, but it's behind the. See, like this, I'm going to say there's the top of that hill right back there, top of this one, like this, and I'm just going to be just adding some more brighter flowers and stuff on here like this, kind of stuff that might be growing at this high altitude, even in this time of year. See, we're just all making this up, but I'm just saying, as you're telling a story and making it up, that's kind of what we're doing. Okay, so yeah. And let's see, probably wouldn't have any green there, so I'd take a little bit of raw umber and tone that out right there, like that. There, okay. I wouldn't have any green right there, but I might have some light there. Remember, wherever there's a dark, there's a light, so I might put the light back there, on that hill, next to this tree, right like that. So those are kinds of things you do. You kind of look around at that. I don't know where this other painting went, because we keep putting stuff away.
What other painting?
I was going to show the one I worked on today. Oh. Those are the kind of things.
I just wanted to get away from your painting.
You could put, if this were bigger, I might put a couple little Swiss chalets back here, maybe on the hill, or I don't know, or maybe I'd put a couple sitting, or all kinds of things you can do. But at least you have to have a better understanding of how you would do trees, which was really what the whole point of this was, right? And how you might want to do something. Yeah, this painting. Do we have the original photograph from that? It should be in the sleeve. All right, this was you got to back up for a minute. Zoom back out. I'll show you guys this before we quit. No.
I just got to find. Let me zoom you out.
All right, he's going to zoom me out. All right. Again, this was a painting I was, working on recently. It's just going to be for our members, right?
Hold it down a little bit.
Again, we kind of took the bent of Thomas Kincaid and added more flowers, all right, than you'd normally see. But this was the original. Let's see, where's the other one, the small one, the first one I did. The first one, John. All right, so this is what I worked on today, right? And this was the very first. All right, I'm just going to show you about designing paintings. Here is the photograph, okay? It's all right, too much green, way too much green, all right, but an old barn. Then I designed this barn, which we all liked. I really liked it, but I never really liked the sky. So then I went ahead and I went into Photoshop, and I took my painting, put it into Photoshop, and said, what would happen if I changed the sky? All right. So then I came back, and then I added more of a sunrise to it. This old barn, mountains and sunrise. Okay? But that's kind of the thinking that goes into designing artwork, and that's something that you guys all at some point will be doing for yourself. And you got to start off by understanding tree rules. Fun.
There we go. I think that wraps up in another exciting evening of Ginger Cook Live on Monday. And we'll be back tomorrow, 7:30 Central Time, with another exciting episode of something yet to be designed.
Hey.
Thank you all. We appreciate you. Like us, subscribe to us, visit our website. If you have questions, use the Contact Us form. If we missed any questions, please use the Contact Us form on our website, gingercooklive.gallery. Good night, everyone.
Good night, John.
Good night, Sammy. Sammy, are you still with us there, buddy?
Night, Sammy.
Oh, yeah. Good man. Good night, everyone.